Hi, welcome to the Forbes Cybersecurity Briefing. Today we're going to talk about Secure Access Service Edge, or SASE, as it's most likely called. We're going to get a little bit sassy with you today. I apologize. Terrible pun. I can't guarantee that will be the end of puns today, though. But let's get started. So I'm John Faust, CEO of Forbes Cybersecurity and IT Services. Been in the industry since 2007, doing this full time. Then had all kinds of different hats, all the way from regular IT support guy, moved into doing cybersecurity. My goal is to secure as many networks as possible, definitely in the Cincinnati area, and I want to keep as many businesses as safe as possible. Um, it's a rough world out there in cybersecurity, so let's figure out how to close the holes and make you and your company more secure. So things we're going to cover today is we're going to talk about SASE. We're going to do a brief introduction of SASE, components of it, benefits of it, talk about what it's meant to do and how VPN is vulnerable, talk about the end user experience and some things to consider. So let's jump in. So what is it? So basically, it's a protocol that overrides many different components of networking, but it's designed to increase productivity with remote work, increase connectivity, but also do it in a secure manner. So it was introduced by Gartner in 2019. It's been highly adopted by enterprise organizations. And what it's meant to do is you take these remote sites, things about like combining SD-WAN, combining secure network access, things like that, so that end users are able to sit down and work more securely, but also more efficiently as well. What it does is one of the key things that it does is it replaces traditional VPN. And traditional VPN is vulnerable, it's an outdated technology, and it's being hit pretty heavily by hacking organizations and specifically Russian hackers. And we'll go over that in a little bit. But just this year, Cisco, Citrix, Fortinet, Avanti, Palo Alto, Checkpoint, and SonicWall have all had to deal with VPN vulnerabilities. And so what this does is it moves it to the endpoint. It has better logging, and there's all tons of benefits as far as usability and things like that that just go to make SASE be a little bit better of a technology for remote work and connectivity. So what are kind of the key components? So several different things. One is SD-WAN. So the idea is as long as you have internet access and the network you're connecting to has internet access, it removes the physical hardware from being the limitation for how the network works. And it moves that to servers and your endpoints and things like that. It provides more uptime than your traditional VPN solutions or remote access solutions. And it has some serious benefits of usability and things like that. Cloud security. So it will utilize aspects to control how you access information in the cloud. So you can route that through different manners. It has better logging. You can have things that'll say, my computer can't connect into this cloud resource unless it verifies who I am. And so we'll talk about this as a thing called zero trust network access, or ZTNA, but the idea is you don't trust anything until you verify who it is and how and if it's supposed to have access to the systems, right? So even if you look at a certain app instance where somebody sits down a computer and a computer would normally have access to something, when they log into their SASE solution as a different end user on that computer, it would have access to different resources, maybe between two users. And you look at a use case for this, like you have a HR person, and that HR person needs more access than a front desk person, right? So the HR person would have access to more sensitive data. Even if the front desk person were able to get onto the HR person's computer, they wouldn't be able to access the same data. And then another great thing about it is it has an always on firewall. So wherever you connect your computer to, it's behind a enterprise grade firewall. So the traffic is being sent out through a gateway, it's being inspected, it has DNS filtering, it's looking for all the bad things that you're trying to get to. And even if you're on a public network, one of the worries of a public network is somebody could be doing what's called a man in the middle attack, where they have the Wi-Fi. Your computer connects to the Wi-Fi. So here's your computer and here's the Wi-Fi. And in the middle, there's somebody else that's intercepting that traffic before it gets to the Wi-Fi and interjecting bad code in there. Well, this ensures that that can't happen because you're not all your traffic's encrypted and sent through a different connection method. You're on that wireless. That would be a public wireless, but all of your traffic is encapsulated and encrypted in a different manner to go through there. So we look at some of the benefits here. A core one is that it's just more secure. We'll talk about how vulnerable VPNs on firewalls are these days. There's some critical ways that people try to get access, criminals try to get access to systems, and attacking VPNs on firewalls is one of the massive ones. So it's more secure, not only from a removal of VPN perspective, but from it adds an extra layer of firewalling on your computer. It adds an extra layer of encapsulating that data and making sure bad eyes aren't viewing it. And it just keeps that endpoint more secure. If COVID taught us anything when everybody gets sent home, is the protection really needed to move to the endpoint. And that's one of the things that SASE does, is move the protection one extra layer towards that endpoint. Improving performance is another big thing. So it is normally in the realm of cybersecurity things that we do. You do not get more security with better usability and performance. And this is one of the rare instances that it does. SASE's faster than VPNs. It has a much better employee experience. It's easier for them to connect to. They use their Office 365 credentials and things like that that they know. And it is uses the multi-factor that's off of Microsoft 365. It has a very seamless user experience. And whenever we moved our company over to SASE, I've had people here tell me that it completely changed the way that they work, and their work experience here at Forbes is way better by implementing this because their laptop, no matter where it is, feels like it's sitting here in the office. It feels just as fast, and their user experience is great. And then there's a lot of scalability and flexibility with it. It was kind of developed by the enterprise and came down to small, medium business. And so there's ways to scale it for more users, more end users, and things like that that don't slow it down. So let's talk about the elephant in the room, and that's VPN is vulnerable. So last year, there were 133 vulnerabilities just for VPN. It was a 47% increase from the year before. Hackers know that the VPN is one of the places that they can get on the network. If they can attack the VPN that's on a firewall, then depending on the vulnerability, they can sometimes either gain access to the firewall itself and make changes to it, or they can just get direct access to the resources that are behind the firewall, and then that hacker is sitting on your network. This little graphic down here is just in the first part of this year, so 2024, up through May, from January to May, all of these companies had vulnerabilities for their VPN on their firewalls. So Avanti, Citrix, Cisco, Fortinet, Palo Alto, you name it. And there's been even more since that time frame. SonicWall just had a vulnerability. So it's not that they're attacking companies, they're attacking VPN as a technology. And most of these companies have some sort of SASE solution that's other than this in order to try to get VPN removed. And the goal of this is we get people moved over to SASE and other secure remote connection methods, and then we turn off the firewall. We turn off the VPN on the firewall so that that vulnerability is removed and that firewall is one more step secure. So what does the end user experience look like? Well, whenever you go to connect to it for the first time, or sometimes you have to reauth to it, it pops up with this Cloudflare Access box, and you go in and you put in your Office 365 credentials with the multi-factor authentication that's in 365 already. You go do it. It says success. You click open, and then it takes you down to the Zero Trust panel. On the left is what it normally looks like when it's off. So if you look down at the lower icon next to the 4 down there, there's a little cloud that's gray. That's what it looks like when it's off. You just click the button and it connects because you're authenticated. And then it changes that icon to orange. Most of the time, you're just sitting, most of the time, it's orange. When you start your computer, it comes up and your computer behaves a lot more like it's sitting at your office. Some of our remote access tools work better once they're on here. Some of the issues that come with your computer, if it's a remote only employee losing trust of the domain or having issues like that, have gone away. Group policy updates. There's crazy amounts of benefits for going to this over a VPN client that's on a firewall. Some things to consider. This is not recommended for bring your own device. Now, I say that we don't recommend VPNs for bring your own device as well, because what happens is you're now giving a connection into your internal network and resources, your sensitive data and your sensitive uh, things you want to cover to a computer that has unknown security on it or no security potentially. And the way zero trust works is if we don't know its security method on it, we're going to assume it has no security. And the tenet of that is to not allow it on the network. So whenever you put SASE or you put a VPN client on one of those computers, think of it as like a long patch cable or a really long wireless directly into your network. That computer, if infected, could cause your internal network to get infected if you were to do that. So we really recommend it for corporate-owned systems. We do have other secure options for bring your own device that aren't VPN or SASE, that some different ways. Talk to us for those methods of getting connected. The other issue that we've seen is captive portals sometimes don't work with it. So that's like you go to connect to a coffee shop, Wi-Fi, hotel, airplane, something like that, and it wants you to put in some uh, email or something like that. That connects to a local thing that's on the network, and sometimes that doesn't work. So you just click the button to disconnect from SASE, connect to that wireless, and re-click it to connect once you get internet access, and it's good to go. Really, that's the biggest issue that our people have come across whenever they've been using it. It's very seamless and easy to use. So advanced features, you can set it up so that they have to access SASE before getting to controlled cloud applications. That's a case by case basis and can be put in to the system, things like Office 365, other things like that. So you can make sure that that's locked down even more than normal publicly available. Um, you can control access to sensitive file shares and servers and things like that. So say you have a finance person that needs to get access to the QuickBooks server, but your front desk person doesn't need to, then you could say, hey, before those resources are able to be accessed, they have to re-authenticate to SASE before it allow them to do so. That way, if someone were to get onto that financial person's computer, they wouldn't be able to access it because they wouldn't have those things. One of the cool things is that in the future, we could do things like network segmentation. So you could basically make your entire network be a guest network, essentially, and you couldn't get access to any resources of any criticality until you authenticated to SASE, and then those would be allowed. So um, it would really limit somebody coming in, cleaning crew, whatever, and plugging into your network and being able to get into any critical sensitive information. It really limits your attack vector very greatly. And then logging. So much of this is tracked. It goes through, there's a crazy amount of other benefits that I just don't have time to cover here, but there's logging of what happens, and then it can be reverse engineered or from a cybersecurity perspective or just from a network connectivity perspective. So, kind of the summaries here is that it's more secure than VPN. It's easier to use. It's faster. Our employees really love using it. Every company that we've put on has just been crazy happy that we've done this. And then we're able to remove VPN from the firewall to limit risk. And our customers, the setup is really easy. We're able to push out the software to the computers. And then in many aspects, we can just give a setup documentation file and the end users can authenticate themselves. And if they need any help, we're here to help them. So, speak with us about this. How can we make your company more secure with SASE? How can we get you on this thing that really eliminates a potential threat vector, really makes your firewall more secure, it improves the security of your company, and your employees really will be happier using this than traditional VPNs. I guarantee it. So, I'm John with Forbes Cybersecurity. Look for our YouTube channel. This video will be posted up there. We post videos pretty regularly to that. We post blog articles, those sorts of things. Follow us on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, all those sorts of places you follow playing. Give us a subscribe on YouTube and reach out to us if you have any cybersecurity questions or anything like that. Like I said, it's a personal goal of mine to secure as many businesses as possible, and this is a nebulous thing and it keeps changing, and so we want to educate people and get on top of it. So I appreciate your time here today. If you have any questions at all, please reach out to us, www.forbes.com. Thank you.